Part 6. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 52. Time speeds up. Yang Hao's speed exploded to extremely fast. The time pattern wrapped him around. If anyone saw it at this moment, Yang Hao's figure would pass by like a light and shadow. Under the acceleration of time, he would be like a shadow. He is a very confident person. But at the same time, he has never lacked reason. So now he is flying like crazy, heading towards the realm of all things. There are too many screen refreshes in the system. He did not expect that with the collapse of the ancient tree of the world, will anger countless creatures. These creatures include powerful demonic plants, ferocious beasts, and weak and fragile creatures. But no matter strong or weak, they all have strong murderous intentions towards Yang Hao. But now Yang Hao is rapidly speeding, but he could still sense that there were a large number of creatures chasing him behind him. With just a glance, Yang Hao could see several king-level ferocious beasts. You must know that he was already approaching the realm of all things at this moment. These ferocious beasts will be suppressed by the magic circle of the realm of all things. But their strength still reaches the king level. If there is no suppression by the magic circle of the realm of all things, the strength of these ferocious beasts chasing Yang Hao will be even more terrifying. It's because the aura of the world's ancient trees nourishes these creatures and makes them inspired. Or, the ancient tree of the world will gradually control these creatures. As Yang Hao was speeding, his heart suddenly jumped, and he guessed extremely darkly. If it's the former, it's fine, but if it's the latter, then it's going to be big trouble. Although these ancient trees in the world seem to have no sanity, they can even be left alone. Extract the soul. But what if the mind is born? By then, what changes will these ancient trees in the world that create a large amount of rich spiritual energy bring about? Yang Hao's heart beat wildly. Such a guess is not impossible. He comes from Sky Blue Star and has heard about it. Too many magical ideas. Become stronger. Only by constantly getting stronger is the right way. Yang Hao rushed onto the land of the 10,000 Things realm. Fortunately, there is still a long time buffer before the arrival of the Great World, and he has enough time to continue to become stronger. He looked at himself rushing out with shining eyes in the deep pit of the underground world. An extremely ferocious aura has come from there. Really not afraid of death. How dare you follow me? Yang Hao sneered, but stopped running. In the realm of all things. At this moment, Saintess Tianxuan's body erupted with light, and she used extremely weird methods to suppress a huge ferocious beast. Great, this golden-blooded demon rock should be unable to hold on any longer. This Qingyang dynasty's realm of all things is truly a treasure. If there was no spiritual tide erupting, this golden-blooded demon rock would only be at the prince level at most. Now, it has reached the king level. If you kill it, you should have a chance to extract the immortal soul. The eyes of Saint Tianxian flickered, and she seemed to be looking forward to it. These days, she has gained a lot in the realm of all things. Apart from some king-level souls, she also found many powerful creatures. Those powerful creatures have a probability of extracting immortal essence. Level divine soul. Tianxian Saint considers herself to be very lucky. Over the past few days, she has successfully extracted 2 immortal level souls. If she kills the golden-blooded demon rock in front of her, she will get another immortal level extraction soul opportunity. The 1-month period is coming to an end, and the aura of the Qingyang dynasty's all realms has begun to dissipate. Finally, harvesting 3 immortal level souls should not be a big problem. Even if Yao Guang has a divine body, he may not be able to surpass me. Saint Tianxian felt a little proud in her heart. The purpose of extracting the soul is luck. So what if Holy Son Yao Guang has a divine body? If Yao Guang can show his kindness to me, I will give him an immortal soul, she thought in her mind. Although the immortal soul is extremely precious, Tianxian is not a simple person who can become the saint of the eternal Holy Land. She has vision and a pattern. She knows very well that if she can interact with Yeo Guang, who has a promising future, okay, let's not talk about one immortal level soul, even a few are worth it. With a plan in mind, Saint Tianqian took action again. Seeing that the golden-blooded demon rock in front of her was already exhausted and was about to be completely killed by her. Boom! Suddenly, a loud noise came from the world. Saint Tianxuan's heart skipped a beat. What happened? What a powerful energy and blood fluctuation! She looked towards the horizon with a horrified expression. She could clearly sense the terrifying energy and blood coming from the horizon not far away. So much energy and blood oscillated, it was not like it was caused by a practitioner. Saint Tianqian was very clearly, only the energy and blood of a ferocious beast can be so terrifying. Where to escape? At this moment, seeing that Saint Tianqian was distracted, the golden-blooded demon rock that was about to be killed by Saint Tianqian was extremely cunning and immediately fluttered its wings toward the realm where the terrifying energy and blood fluctuations were coming from. Saint Tian naturally did not want to see the golden-blooded demonic rock she was about to kill escape just like that. In addition, she was also curious about the terrifying energy and blood coming from the distance, so she did not hesitate to pursue the golden-blooded demonic rock and headed towards. They flew in the direction of the fluctuations of energy and blood. The speed of each person and the beast was extremely fast, but within a moment they had already arrived at the boundary where the fluctuations of energy and blood were coming. This is... How can it be? As soon as Fang flew to this area, before he could chase down the golden-blooded demon rock, Saint Tianxuan's delicate body trembled, her beautiful eyes widened, and she stared at one place with an extremely shocked look. At the same time, a terrifying aftermath washed away. The golden-blood demon rock, which was originally seriously injured, had no time to dodge. In an instant, it turned into a ball of blood mist. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 53. The blood mist transformed by the golden blood demon rock floated over like rain, hitting the jade-white face of Saint Tianqian. Is this, the divine body? A glimmer of light gradually appeared in the eyes of Saint Tianqian. She looked fixedly not far away. Even the golden-blooded demon rock that she was about to kill was completely shattered. There was no trace of regret in her eyes. It is the figure of Yang Hao. Surrounding Yang Hao are many powerful ferocious beasts. The knowledgeable Saint Tianqian can see at a glance that these ferocious beasts and demonic plants that completely surround Yang Hao are all extremely powerful. A powerful being. If she were to change places, even if she was enveloped by the magic circle of the realm of all things, she could only run away with her head in her hands to avoid pursuit. But what did she see now? It was a figure that looked like a god and demon. Although he is not very tall, in the eyes of Saint Tianqian, he is as towering as a mountain. Yang Hao is fighting. His divine body is shining, and countless magical Dao patterns are surrounding him. Behind him, there are Dao patterns. The phantoms condensed, crushing the ferocious beasts that dared to approach him one after another. What shocked Saint Tianqian the most was the fluctuation of energy and blood that soared into the sky. She originally thought that the source came from powerful ferocious beasts, but she was wrong. She subconsciously ignored Yang Hao, who was also still in the realm of all things. Divine body. A divine body that almost only exists in legends. The burst of blood at this moment was no worse than those ferocious beasts that surrounded him. It can even be said that it was crushing. One hand tore the scales of the ferocious beast with extreme violence. One foot trampled the monster plant's torso mercilessly. Blood splattered. It was brutal to the extreme. But it was full of strange and incomparable charm. At this moment, Yang Hao, in the eyes of Saint Tianqian, she shines brightly, like the god of war. She is a very proud woman. She originally thought that she looked down on her contemporaries and had extremely high vision. Now her heart is a little shaken. She has never thought that she has magical powers. In this realm, there are people who can fight ferocious beasts like this. Almost all of these ferocious beasts surrounding Yang Hao are king level. Although Saint Tianqian does not know where Yang Hao has attracted so many king-level ferocious beasts and Yaozai, but this does not prevent her from judging the situation of the battle. The Holy Sun of Shaking Light is already invincible in the magical realm. She looked deeply at Yang Hao's figure, without even noticing it. Unknowingly, she had firmly remembered this figure in her heart and would never forget it. Tianqian. Don't be stunned, come and help me. I'll crush these guys and you extract their souls. If you extract too much, I will divide it among you. Saint Tianqian did not cover up her figure. Yang Hao, who was in a fighting state at this moment, was on guard. Naturally, he immediately discovered the figure of Saint Tianqian. He was quite distressed at this time. After he returned to the realm of all things, finally, under the suppression of the realm of all things, he was no longer afraid of the ferocious underground beasts and demonic plants that were chasing them. After all, the underground world was still separated from the realm of all things, and the magic that could be arranged by the realm of all things was the impact of the array on these ferocious beasts is only about half of its own. However, as these powerful ferocious beasts and demonic plants break into the realm of all things, the array of all things in the realm naturally operates at full strength, reducing the strength of these ferocious beasts and demonic plants. Complete suppression. Originally, Yang Hao was not necessarily weaker than these ferocious beasts and demonic plants. When these ferocious beasts and demonic plants were severely suppressed by the magic circles in the realm of all things and their strength declined, Yang Hao took action without hesitation. Come one, kill one. Come a pair, kill a pair. He will kill all these ferocious beasts that dare to chase him. Divine power bursts out. The power of time Dao pattern surrounds. The terrifying reincarnation Tao embryo divine body follows the movement in the body. The supreme immortal bone vibrated, with full fire power. The supreme body refining secret technique, 9 nether suppression prison, crazily squeezed the billions of demons in the body, liberating power far beyond what a monk in the magical realm should have. He was extremely fierce and close to these ferocious beasts fight. It's as if he is the most powerful beast. The blood and killing intent rising into the sky. If these beasts had not been completely enraged, the practitioners would have been intimidated and fled away. So, Heaven Saint Qian saw an extremely shocking scene. But she didn't know that Yang Hao's heart was bleeding with distress at this moment. His original intention was to completely kill all the ferocious beasts and demonic plants that were chasing him. To extract their souls. But Yang Hao underestimated the nature of these ferocious beasts and demonic plants. He attacked ferociously and could achieve crazy slaughter, but these ferocious beasts and demonic plants continued one after another, so crazy that they did not give him time to extract them. Soul. In the end, Yang Hao could only feel extremely distressed as he watched the ferocious beasts fall one after another. It just so happened that Saint Tianqian appeared at this time, and he was naturally overjoyed. Good. Sage Tianqian heard Yang Hao's voice and subconsciously responded. So, with the addition of Saint Tianqian, Yang Hao hit the dying ferocious beasts and demonic plants towards Saint Tianqian, and continued his madness. Killing. It was much smoother after this. The ferocious beasts and demonic plants that rushed out from the underground world were not infinite after all. With Yang Hao's crazy killing, gradually these ferocious beasts and demonic plants were completely destroyed by Yang Hao. Kill them all. 35 heads. 36 heads. 42 heads. The most shocking thing is the Saint Tianqian who is helping at this moment. While she is watching Yang Hao kill, she is subconsciously calculating the number. The more she calculates, the brighter her eyes become when she looks at Yang Hao. Is this the power of the divine body? Yao Guang is underestimated by the world. I also underestimated him before. He deserves my recognition. The eyes of Saint Tianqian were flowing, and the original sense of Yang Hao in her heart was changing rapidly and became extremely complicated. This is really normal. In this world of practice, every practitioner has been instilled with concepts since birth. The strong is respected. Yang Hao's performance has completely conquered her. Finally, the war ended. Thank you very much. Let's see how many souls can be extracted later, and then see how many are divided between you. Yang Hao flew close and said with a smile to Saint Tianxian. No need, it's just a little effort, these should all belong to you. This time you win. Hearing this, Saint Tianxian shook her head slightly and showed a kind smile. Although she was curious, she did not pursue where Yang Hao attracted so many powerful creatures. At this moment, she remembered the time when she entered the realm of all things. How ridiculous her words are. Although she also understands that if she is willing to these creatures killed by Yang Hao, she will definitely be able to get a few immortal level souls. Just such a battle is worth all the gains she has made in this time in the realm of all things. But Saint Tianxian also has her own plans. She hopes to gain Yang Hao's favor now more than before. Not only from the guidance of her backers, but also from her own inner thoughts. He. Yang Hao glanced at Saint Tianxian with a smile. The attitude shown by Saint Tianxian at this time was much more friendly than before when the two of them got along. With his wisdom, it was not difficult to see that Saint Tianxian's he knew that Saint Tianxian would never accept his benefits this time. However, he did not point it out. He needed a lot of souls to ignite magical powers. Saint Tianxian wanted to be friends with her, so what if she just let her go? Being a villain, the pattern must be big. Anyone who wants to benefit from him often has to pay 10 times or 100 times the price. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 54. Earn 10,000 points for extracting soul successfully. Earn 10,000 points due to failed to extract soul. Due to failed to extract the soul, 10,000 points were gained. Yang Hao continued to extract the souls of these powerful creatures under the warm gaze of Saint Tianxian. Although these powerful creatures are stimulated by the spiritual tide, the extraction success rate is greatly improved than ordinary extraction, but it is still accompanied by a large number of failures. Not bad. 16 souls were extracted successfully. As I expected, they are all immortal level. The harvest this time is really huge. Finally, Yang Hao finished the extraction and started counting, his eyes shining. He finally successfully extracted 16 immortal level souls from the ferocious beasts and demonic plants that he chased from the underground world. Together with the previous gains, this time he coming to the Qingyang dynasty's realm of all things, I harvested a total of 26 immortal level souls and one soul that was almost beyond the god level. It can be said to be a huge gain. In such a short time, I got such a terrifying number of high-quality souls. Even if there are many big, this kind of harvest makes Yang Hao very satisfied. He originally thought that it would take a long time to collect immortal souls, but he would not consider souls below the immortal level at all. After all, in this world, the quality of souls has a complete system. The quality of the soul at each level will definitely be higher than that of the lower level soul. There is no lower level soul that is stronger than the higher level soul in some aspect. Because in essence, the soul is the essence of the spirit of all things. A handle, no matter how heaven-defying and outstanding the divine soul extracted from a rusty iron sword is, it cannot be compared to the divine soul of a divine sword that has been cultivated for thousands of years and made of immortal golden iron. Even if the system can have unlimited add points to improve, but every time you level up, the points you need to pay increase tenfold. This is why Yang Hao does not consider the souls below the immortal level at all. At present, the Qingyang dynasty's aura of all things is of little value because it was extracted by me from the ancient tree of the world. Go back to the Shaoguang Immortal Peak first and ignite all these souls. When the time comes, we will explore the news carefully to see if we can find the place where the ancient tree of the world was born. Yang Hao made a plan in his heart. Originally, the temple needed to ignite 81 souls. Now, in just 1 month, nearly half of them have been obtained. This makes Yang Hao feel very happy. Not only that, he has also found a way to quickly collect a shortcut to immortal souls. According to his estimation, within 1 year he will be able to gather 81 high-quality souls and ignite magical powers. Congratulations to the Holy Sun. These souls are completely enough for you to ignite the 9 magical powers and create a perfect foundation. At this time, the voice of Saint Tianqian came softly. I'd like to lend you some good words. Yang Hao nodded lightly and smiled. There are no more opportunities in the universe. I plan to return to the Holy Land. Will the saint return together? Hearing what Yang Hao said, Saint Tianqian hesitated. For her, this harvest has not yet reached the expected value. She also did not expect that Yang Hao was so lucky that he extracted 16 immortal souls in one go. Some hesitate to trade with Yang Hao in exchange for some. After all, in her opinion, it is enough for Yang Hao to have 9 immortal souls. What's more, the Holy Lord loves Yang Hao so much, and he must still have it. But Saint Tianqian, she is an arrogant person. Just now she had sworn to refuse, and now she lowers her head and begs Yang Hao to trade with her, but she can't get away with it. I still have a few souls left, and I want to search in this realm of all things. Holy Sun, please take the first step. After a moment of hesitation, Saint Tianqian finally made the decision to stay in the realm of all things for a while. Good. Yang Hao chuckled. He could naturally understand the meaning of Saint Tianxian's words, but unfortunately if he really just needed the 9 souls, he wouldn't mind doing a favor. Unfortunately, Saint Tianqian, I never thought that he would need a lot of souls. I still lacked a lot, so of course I chose not to mention it. This guy. It's really confusing. Sage Tianqian was a little annoyed when she saw Yang Hao leaving directly, but there was nothing she could do about it. Yang Hao soon arrived at the exit of the realm of all things. See the sun. Forgive me, Holy Sun. Only a hurried shout was heard, and several figures appeared in front of Yang Hao's eyes. Except for Xia Hao, who was supposed to guard the entrance and exit of the world of all things. The leader was a black-haired scholar, wearing a black robe with gold patterns, and he was quite majestic. Behind him were all young people dressed in luxurious clothes, looking panicked at this moment. Xia Hao, who are these? Yang Hao was a little confused. The panic-looking young people behind him were just in the realm of supernatural powers. The leader was a dignified Confucian scholar with a profound aura that even he couldn't see through. At least he was a king, and he was not ordinary. The king. But this king is also slightly stooped at this time. His face seems calm, but there is a faint trace of panic. Holy Sun, this is King Tamechi, the king of Qingyang dynasty. This is the eldest prince, this is the second prince. The third prince was ignorant of life and death and offended the Holy Sun. King Tamechi came with all the princes to apologize. Xia Hao heard Yang Hao ask and said quickly. Forgive me, Holy Sun, but Xiao Wang did not teach his son well and offended the Holy Sun, so he deserves to die. After hearing the words, King Tamechi immediately stepped forward and said in a somewhat awkward tone. Apologize. Yang Hao blinked his eyes, glanced at Xia Hao, and then glanced at King Tamechi. Suddenly, he finally remembered that he had killed a brainless person casually before. Villain. Xiao Wang had already killed all his relatives in Tangshan's lineage for offending the Holy Sun. These are Xiao Wang's other 2 dogs. They were also in the realm of all things that day. I wonder if they also offended the Holy Sun. If offended. Just as Yang Hao was recalling, the voice of King Tamechi came again. When Yang Hao heard this, he took a deep look at King Tamechi. He had no idea that just killing a brainless villain would lead to such a follow-up. The leader of a dynasty, a powerful king, or even one from the Holy Land, should always be considered high and mighty. Now he was as embarrassed as a dog, groveling and apologizing in front of him. In order to appease his anger, he even massacred all the Tangshan relatives who had offended him, and sent his other two sons to him. Yang Hao had no doubt that as long as he was slightly angry and said a casual word, countless lives would disappear. Heaven and earth are unkind, treating all things as stupid dogs. After all, I underestimated the transcendent status of a holy son of the Holy Land in this world, Yang Hao secretly thought in his heart. He does not have the heart of the Holy Mother and will not have compassion. It was only at this moment that he deeply felt the cruel class in this world. And the foundation for maintaining this cruel class is still strong strength. If today, King Tamechi is powerful enough, why does he need to betray his son like this to apologize? Ultimately, King Tamechi is too weak. Weakness is the original sin. Yang Hao does not want to be like this in the future, and the desire to become stronger in his heart expands infinitely. For a moment, looking at the various forms of living beings in front of me, it felt boring. Take care of yourself. Yang Hao said a cold word. Immediately, he disappeared from the place and returned to the Holy Land. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 55. Yang Hao's return to the Holy Land of Eternal Life was very fast. He crossed thousands of mountains and rivers in one day and entered the territory of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Saw the sun. The Holy Sun is well. Along the way, I occasionally encountered Holy Land disciples. Whether they were outer disciples or inner disciples, they all greeted Yang Hao respectfully as soon as they saw him. Kindness. Yang Hao has a keen sense, but he sensed a hint of surprise. Along the way, all the disciples who met him looked at him with a bit of strange eyes. This is very strange. Not to mention that after he created the divine body and caused a sensation, the entire Holy Land disciples recognized him very much, and many disciples even worshipped him fanatically. Even the former Holy Son of Light, no Holy Land disciple dared to look at him with such strange eyes. Is something happening? Yang Hao once again met several female disciples on the Sea of Clouds. He showed a sunny smile and said to these female disciples who looked at him with the same strange eyes, "Did the Holy Son just return to the Holy Land?" A good-looking female disciple looked at Yang Hao and asked curiously, "No wonder you don't know. Holy Son, you must not go, this is not fair at all." Seeing Yang Hao gently nodding, another female disciple with a hot figure said quickly, "Go to what?" Yang Hao frowned, a little confused. "Holy Son, it turns out that you really don't know that a letter of challenge was handed over to Yin Yang Holy Land a few days ago." The good-looking female disciple said to Yang Hao cautiously. "War letter? Yin Yang Holy Land?" Yang Hao's eyes narrowed, as if he thought of something, and then he smiled and said, "For me. The Son of God is wise. That Saint Yalin has evil intentions at all and wants to provoke you. She is a heaven-defying prince with astonishing fighting prowess. Even the king was beaten to death by her in adversity, and now she wants to deal with you, a person with magical powers. She has really ulterior motives," the female disciple with a hot figure said angrily. "I heard that Saint Yalin has also been recognized by the Holy Land of Yin Yang for a divine weapon. If she takes out the divine weapon, even a powerful person can fight." Another female disciple also quickly added at this moment. Interesting. When Yang Hao heard this, he narrowed his eyes. Saint Yalin, he immediately remembered who Fang Li's concubine was. When he returned from Wanlong Dojo that day, he had thought about this saint. How to attack him? I didn't expect that the other party would be so simple and rude. War letter. Totally disregarding any demeanor, relying on the strong to bully the weak, using the big to bully the small. It's really interesting. After he returned from Wanlong Dojo, he also investigated information about the Saint Yalan. This saint's cultivation is several years ahead of him and even Fang Li's. Her talent is also heaven-defying, and her character is extremely tenacious. Under the efforts of the Yin-Yang Holy Land, she has already laid a solid foundation. Became a prince. Although he didn't know how the saint came to be engaged to Fang Li, Yang Hao didn't care whether the other party was a man or a woman. As long as they showed malice to him, they would all be enemies. Originally, he thought, after he had established the foundation, he directly solved the problem. He never thought that the other party was more shameless than he thought. A genius who was about to be promoted to the king and was recognized by a supreme divine weapon, actually gave him this reward in a grand manner. A practitioner who has never built a foundation writes a letter of war. Are you sure you will take it? Yang Hao thought of this and asked with a smile, looking at your appearance, you should know what is written in the war. Holy Son, how can you still laugh? Of course we know, and all the disciples in the Holy Land know. Looking at the angry girl, Yang Hao felt something interesting and said with a smile, what did you write? Holy Son, please don't be angry after hearing this. When the female disciple heard this, she saw that Yang Hao was still smiling as before. After hesitating for a moment, she slowly said to Yang Hao, all the disciples of the Holy Land know, there are only 7 words written in the war book. She took a deep breath. A year later, King Kaiu led his death. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 56. Hao are you back? The moment Yang Hao's figure fell from Yaoguang Immortal Peak, he heard a familiar voice ringing in his ears. Aunt. Yang Hao's eyes moved. He never thought that his aunt, who had disappeared for some time, would be at the Yaoguang Fairy Peak. Hao looks a little worried. Do you know about that letter of challenge? A white-clothed immortal figure appeared in front of Yang Hao, looking at Yang Hao and smiling slightly. Knew. Yang Hao nodded. The battle written by Saint Yalan was very domineering. A year later, King Kaiu led to death. King Kaiu is a place. It is located in the eastern region, 70 million miles away from the Holy Land of Eternal Life, and also far away from the Holy Land of Yin and Yang. It just so happened that 70 million miles was the middle ground. When he was asked to go to King Kaiu to die, the confidence that came over him made even Yang Hao's eyes turn cold, with murderous intent revealed. What are you going to do? The Holy Lord heard the words and made an understatement. In less than a year, I will take action to kill her, Yang Hao slowly said. More confident? He never shows cowardice. 1 year? It doesn't take a year. As long as he builds the foundation and steps into the prince's family, he will immediately kill her personally. The nights are long and the dreams are many, will he just sit back and wait for death just because the other party tells him how long it will take? Since Hao is so confident, I will leave her to you to sharpen your sword. Seeing that Yang Hao was clearly not affected in the slightest, but instead was full of fighting spirit, the Holy Master was very satisfied. The other party bullied the small, regardless of face. According to her plan, she planned to directly and secretly kill the Yalan saint. But seeing Yang Hao's statement made her change her mind. She knew very well that the road to spiritual practice was accompanied by endless dangers. If Yang Hao wanted to rise against the will of heaven and become a peerless genius of this era, he would definitely need to go through hardships. Saintess Yalan's the approach seems outrageous, but in a real life and death fight, who cares how many years you have practiced? Who cares whether the battle is fair? The winner is king, and the loser dies. In the end, only the living have the right to speak. Saint Yalan is very extraordinary. This is her information. Take a look. It's up to you to decide when to take action. If you want to wait until 1 year, that's fine. The Eternal Holy Lord flicked his fingers, and a jade slip emitting fluorescence fell into Yang Hao's hand. After hearing this, Yang Hao looked at the jade slip in his hand, and the information was immediately read by him. 20 years ago, a living fossil in the Yin-Yang Holy Land brought back a baby girl from an unknown place. She is the Saint Yalan, Fang Qingying. Fang Qingying has a resolute personality and is devoted to spiritual practice. When he was 3 years old, he received the blessings of heaven and earth and revealed a vision. At the age of 7, he broke into the Qi and blood realm. When he broke through the realm, his Qi and blood soared to the sky, and he took the form of a blood phoenix. At the age of 13, she broke through the Dao pattern realm, engraved 2 supreme Dao patterns, one Yin and one Yang, and became the saint of the Yin and Yang Holy Land. At the age of 17, he broke through the true body realm and formed the second immortal body on the immortal body list, the chaotic immortal body. At the age of 18, he attacked a prince in adverse circumstances, and a prince who defied heaven was bloody suppressed by him. The supreme foundation was built at the age of 20. When he broke through the realm, visions of heaven and earth appeared. The sleeping Ji-Dao divine soldier in the Yin and Yang Holy Land woke up and recognized him as his master. In the same year, he became the king of Nishan. He defeated 3 evil kings and 1 invincible king in the face of adversity, and his reputation became great. Now he is practicing hard in the ancient battlefield. Within 1 year, he can defeat the king. Every piece of extremely detailed information was recorded in the jade slips, which was much more detailed than what Yang Hao had investigated on his own before. At least, from the information that Yang Hao had collected before, he did not know that Saint Yalan had conquered the heaven-defying prince, became the invincible king, and other terrifying achievements. This holy maiden of the holy land of Yin and Yang is undoubtedly an unrivaled genius, with a brilliant record of success and success along the way. But when he was only in his early 20s, he had the opportunity to step into the realm of kings. The evaluation given to Saint Yalan in the jade slip is that if this woman can grow up, she will become a saint in the future. Even, he has the appearance of becoming an emperor. This woman clearly has the fate of the protagonist. Not surprising. After all, she is Fang Li's fiancée, and the heroine's luck is equally astonishing. Yang Hao's eyes flickered, and he carefully looked at the various information about Saint Yalan and kept it in his heart. But at this moment, his eyes paused, and his face showed doubts. And this jade slip says, after the holy lady Yalan forged the foundation, she entered the ancient battlefield and practiced hard, and she has yet to come out. The Holy Lord nodded slightly when he heard this and said, "That's right. The ancient battlefield is a dangerous place left over from the Dark Ages. Many princes and kings will choose to enter it to experience. The murderous aura there is overwhelming and extremely weird. It can be said to be a world of its own. Once you step into it, it will take 3 years to get out. Saint Yalan has entered her 2nd year and will be 3 years old next year. Therefore, she does not give you 1 year to grow up, but you can leave the ancient battlefield next year. Of course, if you are willing to her, you can also enter the ancient battlefield to kill her after the foundation is formed." The Holy Lord's words made Yang Hao frown slightly. Wrong. That Fang Li only went to the Yin-Yang Holy Land from my Holy Land of Eternal Life this year. Since the two have never met, why did they enter into a marriage contract? That Saint Yalan has no relationship with Fang Li, so how can she kill me? Yang Hao originally thought that Fang Li and Saint Yalan had feelings and made a marriage contract. But now it seems that is not the case. The Holy Land of Yin and Yang cultivates destiny and luck. The Holy Lord said without thinking, since 2 people can enter into a marriage contract, it should be that their luck complements each other, and Yin and Yang work together. Even if the 2 have never met, they are definitely connected by fate. If you kill Fang Li, you will cut off the luck between the 2 and destroy the great opportunity of Saint Yalan. It's not surprising that she wants to kill you. Hearing the words of the Holy Lord, Yang Hao was speechless. In other words, if he hadn't killed Fang Li, If Fang Li didn't even do anything, a peerless monster with incredible talent would have become his woman. This is protagonist's luck. Even after he died, his ghost still lingers. Yang Hao's eyes flashed coldly, no matter whether Saint Yalan wants to kill him because of Fang Li or not. But he will not be merciful to any enemy. Even if he is a peerless evildoer, what if God stops him and kills him? Buddha will kill him if he stops him, Buddha. By the way, Hao, these are for you. Just when Yang Hao remembered the contents of the jade slip in his heart and retracted his thoughts, the voice of the Holy Lord rang in his ears. Then, bright divine light shone in the Huading. One after another, extremely precious souls appeared in the hands of the Holy Lord. In addition, there are 10 divine swords with different shapes, but all exuding a simple atmosphere, floating around the Holy Lord. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 57. This is. Yang Hao looked at the soul in the Holy Master's hand, his pupils narrowed slightly. Now, he is already very familiar with the soul. Even after just one glance, one can already understand that these souls in the white palms of the Holy Master are of at least fairy-level quality. 12 immortal souls. A god-level soul. Yang Hao looked seriously at the 10 ancient divine swords still suspended around the Holy Lord. Although they were not divine swords, he could feel the deep and vast aura from them and knew the extraordinary power of these 10 ancient divine swords. I only got these 13 souls for this trip. However, you can use them first. In addition, this is the eternal sword, and everything has a great origin. If you extract it yourself, you should be able to extract a god-level soul. However, you practice swordsmanship. The Great Elder's heavenly sword soul is still not that interesting to you after all. The divine soul extracted from this eternal sword should be no worse than the divine soul of the heavenly sword. If you are lucky enough to have one left, you can use it as a protective weapon first. The Holy Lord's words sounded, and she looked at these divine objects, feeling a little dissatisfied. Pity. I didn't expect that there is a sage sleeping in Biwen, otherwise it would be good to snatch half of the G-Deo divine weapon for Hao. Now I can only wait until the injury recovers before searching for Hao's soul. She was a little regretful. If it hadn't been for the sudden appearance of the sage in Biwen that disrupted her plan, she should have been able to collect more souls for Yang Hao. Thank you, Aunt. Hao will always remember her aunt's kindness in her heart. Yang Hao saw so many extremely high-quality souls being taken out by the Holy Lord one by one. His eyes were serious and he thanked the Holy Lord sincerely. At this moment, he finally understood that the Holy Lord disappeared earlier and was actually there to help him. Collect souls. It is impossible for an existence like the Holy Lord to enter the realm of all things. Once entering the realm of all things, the array of the realm of all things will be instantly shattered. In addition, not every realm is like the realm of all things in the Qingyang dynasty. Such a coincidental burst of spiritual waves. He could predict that to collect these souls, even if he was as powerful as the Holy Lord, he would definitely have to go through dangers and pay a price to be able to collect so many souls. Although the Holy Lord certainly did not want him to have any in return, Yang Hao cannot remain indifferent. Silly boy, why are you so polite to your aunt? When the Holy Master saw Yang Hao being so serious, a warm current surged in his heart. This little guy has grown up after all. Even when she dug up the supreme immortal bone for Yang Hao earlier, Yao Guan was not so serious. I thanked her. Just as Yang Hao thought, although she loved Yang Hao, she was not asking for anything in return. But at this moment, hearing Yang Hao's sincere words, she still felt extremely relieved. You should take all these souls into the shrine, nurture them and ignite them. After some time, my aunt will help you look for it again. I have also sent experts from the Holy Land to collect souls for you. It shouldn't take long to collect 81 souls for you. It's a pity that you have 81 things about the Holy Palace that cannot be exposed, otherwise the Holy Land would use all its strength to make it faster. The Holy Lord murmured to himself, looking a little regretful. The secret of Yang Hao's 81 divine palaces cannot be exposed, otherwise she would not have to go and collect it herself. Hao understands. Don't be too anxious. Yang Hao looked at the Holy Lord mumbling to himself, as delicate and distressed as a young girl, and said quickly. He was about to tell the Holy Lord that he had gained a lot this time, but once again heard the Holy Lord's somewhat harsh words. A voice came, how can we not be anxious? How don't think that you can slack off after you condensed into a rare divine body. There is less than a year left until the day when the great Emperor's remnant soul lectures on the Dharma. Without the foundation, it is impossible to enter the tomb of the great Emperor. Originally, I thought that with your talent and foundation, it would not be a big problem to build a foundation. But now you need 81 souls, but it will take a lot of time to collect them. Time is already running out. The Holy Lord's words made Yang Hao dumbfounded. He smiled and said, Auntie, actually I gained something from going to the realm of all things this time. Have you gone to the realm of all things? A king-level soul is not worthy of your divine body, however. Only an immortal level soul is enough. You are not allowed to cultivate without authorization. When the Holy Master heard Yang Hao's words, his beautiful eyes widened and he said with some annoyance. Yang Hao was helpless after hearing the words and did not intend to say too much. He simply released all the souls he had obtained this time. The divine flower that was even more dazzling and exciting than when the Holy Master took out the divine soul and ancient sword just now, illuminated the entire hall. This is. The Holy Lord was a little disapproving at first, but at the next moment, his beautiful eyes showed a look of shock. 1, 2, more than 20 souls were released by Yang Hao. Every soul is at the immortal level. There is even a god-level soul. How are these all your gains this time? What's going on with this god-level soul? This energy. The Holy Lord cast his eyes on the god-level soul that Yang Hao extracted from the ancient tree of the world. From the Holy Lord's perspective, how could he not see the difference in this god-level soul? In her opinion, the energy contained in this ancient tree spirit has completely surpassed the divine level. This matter needs to start when Saint Tianqian comes to talk to me. Yang Hao couldn't help but laugh when he saw the Holy Lord's shocked look. He began to slowly tell the Holy Lord one by one about his experiences on this trip to the realm of all things. From the time Saint Tianqian came to his door, to the outbreak of the spiritual tide, the discovery of the underground world, and even the ancient trees of the world, he told the Holy Master endlessly. There is no need to hide anything. The Holy Lord is his biggest backer, and he has many confusions about the ancient trees of the world and the upcoming great times. With the Holy Lord's vision, he will definitely be able to clear up his doubts. In Yang Hao's view, those who get some inconspicuous little secrets and hide them from their closest relatives are really stupid. It turned out to be so. After the Holy Lord listened to Yang Hao's story, divine light burst out in his beautiful eyes. Yang Hao looked directly at the Holy Lord's stunning appearance, and endless sparks were reflected in those beautiful eyes. He knew that those were the Holy Lord's millions of thoughts. There is a fierce collision and deduction. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 58. Your inference is correct. The great age is coming. No wonder, however, you can trigger visions in the world and condense a divine body that has never appeared before. This is the best era. An era that belongs to you. The sparks in the Holy Lord's beautiful eyes gradually faded away, and she slowly said to Yang Hao. At this moment, her eyes were slightly trembling. It was obvious that everything Yang Hao discovered in the realm of all things shocked her. Kindness. I will not let down your expectations, Auntie. Any enemy who stands in front of me will be pushed aside by me and become my stepping stone. Yang Hao said to the Holy Lord. He knew very well how high the Holy Lord's expectations were for him. Even if the great age is approaching and monsters rise up, he, who has the fate of a villain, will move forward and suppress all monsters, becoming the most dazzling star of this era. Regarding the ancient trees in the world, my aunt never knew anything about them. Lend me your soul for a moment. Seeing Yang Hao's statement, the Holy Master nodded happily. After thinking for a long time, she said to Yang Hao again. Good. Yang Hao did not hesitate and directly gave the ancient tree soul he extracted to the Holy Master. The Holy Master took the ancient tree soul and flashed a white jade plate exuding a vast aura in his hand. A wisp of transparent and flawless light, as if there was something in it. The breath of nothingness, attracted by the white jade plate, quietly flew in. Okay. I will leave the Holy Land in the next few days to investigate. However, just concentrate on your practice and ignite all these magical powers. If there is any shortage of treasures or elixirs, just tell them to go down and someone will deliver them. The Eternal Holy Lord said to Yang Hao while returning the ancient tree soul to him. I see. Yang Hao took the ancient tree soul and found nothing unusual about the ancient tree soul. He looked at the white jade plate in the hands of the Eternal Saint with some curiosity, knowing that it must be a miraculous and unusual treasure. The Eternal Saint, after the Lord finished explaining, he left directly. Receive. The souls of extremely high quality were all taken into his palace by Yang Hao and began to be cultivated. At this moment, in Yaoguang Fairy Peak, there is an endless supply of resources and an absolutely safe cultivation environment. Yang Hao naturally couldn't wait to start practicing. This time, plus the souls given to me by my aunt, there are a total of 40 souls. Even if I light them one by one, it still takes a lot of time. Fortunately, this time in addition to getting a lot of souls, I also got a lot of points. Using these points can make these magical powers rise one after another. Yang Hao took a look at his points at this moment. This time he left Yaoguang Immortal Peak and experienced the journey to the realm of all things, and the points he got reached an unprecedented level. At this time, he had a full 9-digit points. Even enough let Yang Hao top up the points of any one of his own foundations. But Yang Hao did not choose to do this. In less than a year, the day for the Emperor's soul to teach the Dharma was coming. He must before that, build the foundation and break through the realm of magical powers. Therefore, he plans to reserve all the points for practicing in the realm of magical powers. First extract these 10 ancient divine swords. Yang Hao sensed the 40 souls in his body. He did not choose to refine them immediately, but while running the palace like an oven to cultivate these souls, he set his sights on the ancient gods brought by the Holy Lord. Above the sword. These 10 ancient divine swords have been suspended on the left and right, sometimes exuding a simple and profound aura. The Holy Lord did not inform Yang Hao of the origin and function of these 10 ancient divine swords. It is not necessary. In the view of the Holy Lord, these 10 ancient divine swords will be extracted by Yang Hao. Most of them will fail and break. It is enough to successfully extract a divine soul. Once extracted into a divine soul, it will naturally be a God-level divine soul. In the past, it was what is the origin, what is the mystery, naturally it doesn't matter. Extract. Yang Hao also has a straightforward character. Since the Holy Lord didn't tell him, he didn't bother to ask. Without hesitation, Dang even took one of the 10 ancient divine swords in front of him into his hand, and then began to use the power of the Dao pattern, slowly extracting it. The divine soul of this ancient divine sword. These 10 ancient divine swords had already been heavily sealed by the Holy Lord, so naturally there would be no resistance to Yang Hao's extraction. Soon, the ancient divine sword extracted by Yang Hao, the divine sword began to shake. One after another, bright divine light penetrated from the sword body. Broken. Yang Hao, however, felt cold in his heart when he looked at the bright flowing light that penetrated. He has extracted many souls and has rich experience. At a glance, he could see that the flowing light coming from the sword body was not what it seemed on the surface. As dazzling as that. The core of the shining light has been born one after another. The composition of the soul is extremely fine and can be said to be flawless. This is especially true for the quality above the king level. Therefore, when Yang Hao looks at by the time the broken flakes of light appeared inside the first ancient divine sword, it was already clear that the first extraction failed. It is extremely difficult to extract the soul of a creature that has not been baptized by the spiritual tide, even with such a magical ancient sword. Yang Hao sighed, watching the first ancient divine sword in his hand collapse. But he stretched out his hand again, and another ancient divine sword appeared in his hand. Earned 10,000 points due to failed to extract soul. Earned 10,000 points due to failed to extract soul. Due to failed to extract the soul, 10,000 points were gained. The system's point income records began to refresh the screen again. Every 10,000 points gained means that Yang Hao has lost an ancient divine sword. Fortunately, the ancient sword Emperor of Biwen didn't see it with his own eyes, otherwise he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Don't bring such luxury. Unacceptable. This is the ancient divine sword. Each handle is the heritage of the eternal sword sect, and each handle has been cultivated for at least 30,000 years. As a result, Yang Hao failed to extract it crazily one after another. It's so hard for me. Even Yang Hao felt a little heartbroken. The days of easily extracting souls in the realm of all things are gone forever, but in the blink of an eye, 7 ancient divine swords collapsed in front of his eyes. Even so, Yang Hao still no stopping of extraction. Extract. He took out the 8th ancient divine sword and covered the sword body with his palm again, and the power of the Dao pattern surged up. Because of successful extraction of soul, 10,000 points were obtained. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 59. Finally succeeded. Yang Hao breathed a long sigh of relief. The 8th ancient sword was finally successfully extracted. At this moment, a transparent and sharp sword soul appeared in front of his eyes. Just a simple glance, Yang Hao knew that this ancient sword, the quality of the soul has definitely reached the god-level standard. More powerful than the heavenly sword soul. Very good. Yang Hao's eyes lit up, and in a blink of an eye he took the ancient sword's divine soul into a vacant divine soul reserve in his body. There are also 2 ancient divine swords. Extract, or stay. After Yang Hao took the soul of the ancient sword into his body, he looked at the ancient divine sword that was still floating on the side. Compared with the 10 ancient divine swords flashing before, there were only 2 lonely ancient divine swords floating in the air at this moment. Success rate is too low. Even if it is extracted, it is unlikely to be successful. Yao Guang's original magic weapon in the past can no longer keep up with its current strength. These 2 ancient divine swords are quite qualified. Yang Hao thought for a while. Since he had extracted the ancient sword soul, he did not have a high chance of gambling again. He decided to listen to his aunt and keep the ancient sword for use first. If the final 81 there are still vacancies in the Taoist temple. If you really can't find one, try betting on the success rate. After extracting the ancient divine sword, he began to prepare to perfectly suppress these souls one by one and ignite the magical power. After Yang Hao extracted the ancient divine sword again, he closed his eyes and concentrated, and began to cultivate the many divine souls in his body. After all, it is not like the last time when there were only 3 divine souls. This time, there are a total of 40 divine souls that need to be extracted. Even if it was him who also needed to make some preparations. In the next few days, various magical materials and elixirs were continuously delivered to Yao Guang Immortal Peak. While Yang Hao took these elixirs, he began to suppress them one after another. Soul. Earn 10,000 points for perfectly suppressing the soul. Earn 10,000 points for perfectly suppressing the soul. Earn 10,000 points for perfect suppression of divine soul. Compared with the tediousness and uncertainty of finding and extracting souls, perfectly suppressing these souls is an extremely simple matter for Yang Hao, who has 81 divine palaces. As time goes by, the water grinds away. Yang Hao suppressed the immortal souls one after another. 2 months later, a total of 38 immortal level souls were perfectly suppressed by Yang Hao, and successfully ignited the 8th grade magical power. Naturally, his realm also broke through and he successfully reached the 4th level of supernatural power. The magical powers ignited by these 38 immortal level souls are all unique, which opened my eyes. Yang Hao sighed with emotion. As he successively ignited many magical powers, he discovered that in addition to magical powers for combat and auxiliary practice, there are also various special types of magical powers, which are also very practical and powerful. The immortal soul of eternal luck extracted from that sacred stone actually ignited the magical power of luck, which can increase my luck value in a short period of time. There is a soul from Kanjaniao, which ignited the magical power of teleportation, allowing me to teleport once within 1,000 meters. In addition, there is an immortal level soul that, after being ignited, awakens the magical power of treasure hunting and can sense treasures from heaven, material, and earth. These magical powers are extremely heaven-defying. If used properly, you can get unexpected gains. The most important thing is, I haven't upgraded it yet. Yang Hao's eyes flickered. The 38 immortal level souls he had ignited one after another are still at the 8th level stage. According to his plan, he wants to wait until all the souls this time are completely ignited into magical powers. And then use points to upgrade in one breath, giving priority to strengthening some powerful magical powers. Now, start to suppress the ancient sword spirit. Yang Hao retracted his thoughts, and the ancient sword soul in the palace began to vibrate. The next moment, the ancient sword soul was activated by the palace, and a sword that covered the sky and sun appeared, and a sword pointed at Yang Hao's shrine is coming. If caught off guard, this shrine may be completely chopped into pieces, causing the suppression to fail. Fortunately, Yang Hao is already familiar with suppressing the soul. Facing the extremely powerful offensive of the ancient sword soul, he decisively called on other. The power of the divine palace is pressing towards the ancient sword soul. Just when the ancient sword divine soul was about to be perfectly suppressed by Yang Hao's palace, Yang Hao suddenly sensed the slight movement of the supreme immortal bone. Then, the time pattern on the supreme immortal bone flashed, and a force of time separated from the ancient sword divine soul. The moment he was about to be suppressed, he merged in instantly. This is 9th level magical power, annual ring sword. Yang Hao sensed that the soul of the ancient sword was perfectly suppressed, and he digested the magical information about the magical power that was born after igniting the soul of the ancient sword. This turned out to be a magical sword technique that fused with the power of time. With one strike of the sword, he cuts off the annual rings and attacks the lifespan, causing the enemy to age rapidly. Yang Hao was shocked when he sensed the effect of the annual ring sword. It turned out to be a swordsmanship that directly cut off one's lifespan, which was really terrifying. Although Yang Hao is very young now, Yang Hao knows very well that in this world, in addition to falling due to fighting, the ultimate enemy of many practitioners is their own lifespan. A strong man who has built a foundation can break through the 500-year lifespan. A powerful person who can break through the lifespan of 1,000 years. Lifespan may seem long, but in fact, for practitioners, it is fleeting and passes very quickly. Yang Hao can already imagine that if he encounters a living fossil that is about to decay and its end is approaching, and he uses the annual ring sword by himself, he will not be able to achieve shocking results by surprise. This is a very terrifying killing technique, and it can be used as a trump card. Moreover, it can also be upgraded. Yang Hao was shocked and extremely surprised. Now, it's the turn of the ancient tree spirit. After suppressing the soul of the ancient sword, Yang Hao turned his gaze to the temple that contained the soul of the ancient tree, looking forward to it with great anticipation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I Took Away the Villain's Son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 60. The soul of the ancient tree has an unpredictable origin. Even the Holy Lord was amazed and shocked. Putting the ancient tree spirit at the end to suppress and ignite it is enough to show Yang Hao's expectations for the ancient tree spirit. Perfect suppression. Ignite. As the temple burned like an oven, the soul of the ancient tree was finally completely ignited by Yang Hao. Spiritual veins gather. It turned out to be directly the supreme magical power. Yang Hao was shocked in his heart. After the ancient tree soul was ignited by him, thoughts poured into his sea of consciousness, letting him know the magical power that was born after igniting the ancient tree soul. The supreme magical power, the gathering of spiritual veins. Sure enough, it is an existence that transcends the divine soul. Immortal level soul, the magical power obtained after igniting is 8th grade. A god level soul, the magical power gained after being ignited is 9th grade. Unexpectedly, this magical power gathered from the spiritual veins turned out to be the supreme magical power. His previous guess was correct. Just relying on the magical power gained after being ignited, Yang Hao was able to determine that the soul of the ancient tree surpassed the divine level. This is a special magical power. It can gather spiritual energy and form spiritual veins. Yang Hao absorbed all the information about this special magical power, and gradually understood the specialness of this magical power. It turned out to be the magical power of gathering spiritual veins. Once I master this magical power, I will be born to be the most outstanding master of the genre. Yang Hao took a deep breath. Although he had already guessed it, he was still a little shocked when this supreme magical power was born. In this world, spiritual energy is the foundation of everything. After a practitioner reaches a certain level of practice, usually research some other side methods to help themselves practice, and eventually form an independent school with a different kind of powerful combat power. Such as weapon refiner, alchemist, formation master, source master. According to Yang Hao's knowledge, any school needs to be based on the construction of spiritual veins. The weapon refiner needs spiritual veins to refine weapons, the alchemist needs spiritual veins to refine medicine, and the array master needs spiritual veins to set up formations. Therefore, for each school, the art of determining pulse is an extremely profound knowledge. After this supreme magical power is used, one can freely call the spiritual veins within a certain period of time and become the master of a spiritual vein. Although it is not permanent, it means that I can reach the point of perfection in the art of determining pulse in an instant. What a good luck! Yang Hao's eyes flickered. After suppressing the surprise, he looked at the points column on the system panel. 356.21 million points. First, recharge the spiritual veins gathering and the annual ring divine sword. Yang Hao started to add points crazily. What surprised Yang Hao again was that it took 100 million points to upgrade the magical power ignited by the god level soul from the supreme level to the supreme level. The spiritual veins converge to upgrade the supreme magical power to the supreme level. Magical power only requires 10 million points. 10 times less. Add a bit. Yang Hao did not hesitate to use the gathering of spiritual veins to increase the explosion. In an instant, the gathering of spiritual veins was upgraded to the supreme magical power, the great spiritual chi technique. At the same time, more than 100 million points were consumed to upgrade the annual ring divine sword from the 9th level in one go. The magical power was upgraded to the supreme magical power, the divine sword of time. In addition, Yang Hao once again upgraded another divine power, The 8 desolate sword intent, which was ignited by another god-level soul, into the supreme magical power, the 9 heavens and 10 earths great destruction sword intent. Points come and go quickly. What gave me the illusion that I had a lot of points? Yang Hao looked at the points that were only a little over 100 million in an instant, and smiled helplessly. This is because it only cost 10 million points to upgrade the spiritual energy gathering to the great spiritual energy technique. Otherwise, just the magical power ignited by the god-level soul would be enough to spend all his points. Although it costs fast, it is well worth the money. The great spiritual chi technique can not only mobilize the surrounding spiritual energy, but even the spiritual energy from all directions can be controlled by me. If I am willing, I can drain all the spiritual energy within 1,000 miles in an instant, leaving my opponent with no spiritual energy to recover from. Similarly, I can also control spiritual energy to form a terrifying spiritual energy storm, turning this special magical power into a killing magical power. The potential of this supreme magical power is too great. There are countless ways to play. The divine sword of time is also more heaven-defying. The previous annual ring sword could only cut off lifespans. Now that he has become the supreme supernatural power, he can not only cut off his lifespan, but also trigger time, form a long river of time, and banish the opponent forever. The only thing that is a little uncertain is the 9 heavens and 10 earths great destruction sword intention, which is also a supreme magical power. This is the ultimate killing magical power. Its power needs to be determined before we know what level it can reach. However, according to the heaven-defying nature of the first 2 supreme magical powers, this supreme magical power is naturally by no means simple. Yang Hao sensed the 3 supreme magical powers, and his eyes shone. He knew very well that magical powers would accompany him throughout his life, and his power would continue to grow with his own strength. However, it is extremely difficult to improve the realm of magical powers. Most of them have great power. Yes, it is impossible to upgrade magical powers to the supreme realm in his entire life. According to some biographies of powerful people he has read, even the legendary sages may not necessarily master supreme magical powers. Perhaps only the great emperor can achieve 100%. I definitely have the supreme magical power. This is how rare and terrifying the supreme magical power is. Practical supernatural powers should be upgraded to the supreme level first. Others were upgraded to 9th grade. After calming down the excitement in his heart, Yang Hao started to add more points again. Dragon God is angry. 7-star God. God comes. Suddenly, the magical flames in his palace underwent qualitative changes. A total of 43 magical powers. Except for special magical powers such as luck and teleportation. There are 31 magical powers related to combat. Among them, attack, defense, status, and speed magical powers, numbers covered. In a battle, I can use my magical powers like a violent storm to kill the opponent instantly. This is one of my strongest trump cards now. However, I still need to test. I must know all about these powers. Yang Hao took a deep breath. After thinking for a moment, he suddenly walked out of the shaking light fairy peak and headed towards a well-known boundary in the holy land of eternal life. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 61. Bustling and crowded. A tall tower exuding endless majesty reaches the sky and reaches into the clouds, with no idea where it ends. Endless Tower. In the holy land of eternal life, this is a rare and extremely popular place. Because this place is the assessment place for the promotion of outer sect disciples to inner sect disciples in the holy land of eternal life. Likewise, it is also a training place for inner disciples. Therefore, the population is naturally much more densely populated than the ordinary realm of the holy land of eternal life. Senior brother Ying is here again. I heard that he has reached the 130th floor of the Wea Tower and is about to break the record of the Holy Son of Light. This is a record of a saint child level, it is really something to look up to. If it is broken, then break it. This record was only left by the Holy Son of Light a year ago. Now the Holy Son of Fluctuating Light has created a divine body. If he is willing, he can easily break the previous record. Even so, it is still a record at the level of a saint. According to the rules of the Holy Land, you will be rewarded for breaking the Son's record. Many disciples have focused their attention on the bottom of Wea Tower, where there is a tall figure walking slowly towards Wea Tower, with a calm posture and extremely confident. This figure was recognized by everyone present. Inner disciples should ask for nothing. A very talented monster. If it weren't for Fang Lai and Xiaochang's extraordinary rise, Yang Wuqiu would have been the monster who should have competed with Yang Hao for the seat of the Holy Son of Light. Now, he steps into Wea Tower again. You created a divine body, I am not as good as you. But I can break your previous record. Yang Wuqiu, with eyes like daggers, resolutely stepped into the Wea Tower. Every evil genius has obsession in his heart. Because of his obsession, he becomes stronger. First floor. Second floor. 89 floors. Yang Wuqiu had climbed the Wea Tower countless times, and his climbing speed was extremely fast. Every time you climb a floor, a shimmering divine light will shine out of the Wea Tower. However, only 7 hours have passed, and senior brother Ying has already reached the 100th floor. This speed has already surpassed that of the Holy Son of Light. From this point of view, if senior brother Ying exceeds the 135th level this time, it won't be a big problem. Too strong. This is the Wea Tower. Every time you climb a level, there will be an additional enemy of the same level. It's over 100 levels. Next, senior brother Ying will face an opponent who has crossed a different realm. Senior brother Ying is now in the Taoist realm and has begun to attack the strong ones in the true physique realm. The eyes of many inner and outer disciples in the eternal Holy Land were shining brightly at this moment, watching Yang Wuqiu challenge the record of Holy Son Yao Guang. Even some elders from the outer sect showed up to watch. An hour later, a meteor came from far away and came closer. The Holy Son of Fluctuating Light. The Holy Son of Fluctuating Light is here. I've seen the Holy Son of Fluctuating Light. Is the Holy Son coming to see Yang Wuqiu break his record? There were exclamations one after another. This meteor that was speeding towards was naturally Yang Hao. He smiled and nodded in response, but without any pause, he flew directly into the Wea Tower. Is the Holy Son of Yao Guang coming here now, to recreate the record and prevent senior brother Ying from succeeding? I had long heard that the Holy Son of Yao Guang was not very powerful. I didn't expect that after he was cast into a divine body, he would still remain the same. Even so, I have lost my temper. Many disciples are watching Yang Hao hurriedly enter Wea Tower. Although they still respect him on the surface, they can't help but feel contempt in their hearts. In the Holy Land of eternal life, there has never been a time when the Holy Son and Holy Lady would come in a hurry to keep the record when the inner disciples were about to break the previous record. The Holy Son and the inner disciples are not in the same world. On weekdays, these disciples would naturally look up to the Holy Son. But now, these disciples all sided with Yang Wuqiu, who had already reached the 132nd floor. While all the disciples were talking about it, Wea Tower suddenly started to flash crazily. Has the Holy Son of Light begun to break into the tower? It was natural for him to forge a divine body, fight across borders, and rebel against princes, and there was nothing surprising about him. Indeed, Holy Son Yao Guang is too cautious. Seeing the flickering light and shadow of Wea Tower, everyone knew that Yang Hao was climbing crazily. Change it to any other moment. Yang Hao will receive the admiration and admiration. But now, the faster he climbs, the more these disciples look down on him. Senior brother Ying. Quick! Hurry! The Holy Sun of Fluctuating Light has reached the 100th level. Floor 134. Just one level missing. All the disciples looked at Wei Tower extremely nervously, secretly cheering for Yang Wuqiu. But the speed at which Yang Hao climbed the tower was really too fast. Before Yang Wuqiu could break through the 134th floor, he saw the Wei Tower shining brightly. 150 floors. 200 floors, Qiang Holy Sun's record has been broken. 250 floors, Tianqian Saint's record has also been broken. The record of Holy Sun Tianji has also been broken. Something happened that shocked everyone. I originally thought that the speed of the Yaoguang Holy Sun ascending the tower would be slower and slower, but in everyone's eyes, Yang Hao's speed was getting faster and faster. In a blink, he has reached the 300th floor. The speed still shows no sign of slowing down. Within the same generation, all the records of saints' sons and saints were broken at this moment. As the 300th floor of Wei Tower lights up, one after another, stalwart figures appeared. These figures are all powerful men from the eternal Holy Land. Is this a fluctuating light? He has already broken through the 350th floor. Chang'e's record of great power was broken by him. The record of Hades' king has also been broken. Is this the power of the divine body? More and more figures appeared as the flashes at the top of Wei Tower became brighter and brighter. In the blink of an eye, Yang Hao had already stepped onto the 500th floor of Wei Tower. Did we wrongly blame the sun? Maybe he just happened to be coming to Wei Tower. Senior brother Ying was not even qualified to carry the Holy Sun's shoes. 500 levels, what kind of concept is this? The Holy Sun is now only in the realm of supernatural power. Has he even pushed aside the heaven-defying princes? All the disciples who had previously thought that Yang Hao was here to save face began to doubt life. A peerless evildoer who can easily break through the 500-story Wei Tower. Will his status be so low that he deliberately targets an inner disciple who cannot even reach the 150-story tower? They looked at Yang Wuqiu, who was struggling to break through the 136th floor, and then looked at the Holy Sun of Fluctuating Light, who had broken through 10 more floors at this moment and climbed to the 510th floor. All the disciples who just slandered Holy Sun Yaoguang are ashamed. This guy is really disrespectful and dares to break my record. At this moment, a white-clothed immortal figure walked barefoot in the void. She watched the 520th floor of Wei Tower light up with a smile. She didn't expect that she would see something like this just after she returned. Interesting things. Big discount for Dragon Boat Festival reading. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, June 22nd to June 24th.